Welcome back, everybody. We're getting close. We're getting close. You want to know why?
Close to the very end.
Because we're getting close to the end. Look at that segue. It's the semifinals, everybody. I'm Samuel Byrne. This is Blake Myers. It's the first time we've gotten to hang out all day, and we're so excited to bring you the first of two semifinal matches, both of which are going to be streamed. It's going to be fantastic. And
LL points given out.
Nope. No LL points.
Dang it.
Because you want to know why that's a factor here is because we got two Briars in this top four.
Jeez.
We got a Briar versus an Iyslander, and then we got a Briar versus an Iyslander, and that's what we're doing.
Is that really what's happening?
That's what we're doing.
We're going to do Deja Vu all over again.
We're going to do Deja Vu all over again. It doesn't look like I have everybody's thing.
There's a second.
There's another one? Oh, there it is, because we got a couple players for you here. One of them, Matthew Vore. He has got a 73% win percentage here at the AGE 2 top 8, sneaking in near the bottom of the rankings at top 14. But top 14 don't matter when you're top 4 of the tournament. He is excited to clearly watch the Scourge of Pasadena. He's been playing with the experience. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's very cool.
You know him well?
Just from talking to him once and then after he's very smart. I think there's a layer of we're all pretty good at card games if we're doing this, if we're spending a lot of time on Tuesdays and showing up on the weekends. But I think he's somebody who's intelligent, wisdom, all those.
Wow.
Where you're like, oh, I don't want to play against you in sealed or something.
Book smarts.
Yeah, I need to have a game plan to beat you.
Understood. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the game because they're going. They're going right now. We've got Peter Buddensiek on Iyslander Stormbind versus Matthew Vore on Briar, Warden of Thorns, and it's time to get into the match. We have if Peter wins, that's when we'll get to show his cool hero card.
The 6 versus the 7, they hit fists. I think as Iyslander, you used to always want to go first so you could get the card into Arsenal. When did that change? When we went to Wounded Bull stuff?
That could be. Perhaps you don't want to give Briar the tempo here of going as fast as possible on the second turn when the blocks matter a little more. Here we go. This is the beginning of the game, though, because Briar on the play here. Matt Vore going to potentially resolve a Channel Mount Heroic on this first turn of the game. That's a pretty good setup turn. Going to pull up that back into his hand. He does have the Earth cards to pay for it. He's got the Gloom Veil, which is a fine arsenal target after a Channel Mount Heroic turn.
You definitely jam the Channel Mount Heroic because there's no disruption yet. It literally cannot be disrupted unless we use our Get Out of Jail Free card to Storm Strider on turn 0, which would be the dumbest thing ever. I know Peter has literally played Iyslander for maybe a week and a half, which maybe we're doing, wow, Iyslander is a really good deck right now. Or maybe Peter is like, you know what, I'm a really good player. I've seen the results given out. I talked to my friend and teammate Majin Bey so I can get the inner circle mindset of this. And it is kind of interesting to see him avenge an earlier loss of beating Andrew Rudin. He lost to him in round 1 and then beat him in top 8.
Yeah.
So Peter's a good learner is what I'm saying.
Learning on the fly.
But has he played a Briar? And I think he has played a Briar today.
Well, he's certainly playing one right now. You can see Matt Vore going ahead and motioning towards that armor block because you want to make sure you get as much value out of it as possible, given that it's not always entirely clear when the attacks are going to be coming in physically.
Right.
A lot of the arcane damage present within these Iyslander decks, that's the constant. It's the variable is all the different attack actions that they could or could not be playing. So he is going to go ahead and put 4 block in front of it with the Carapace and the Grasp of the Art Knight. It looks like it was an attack just for 5 here. So we're just going to arsenal the blue card in our hand. It looked like it might have been a Frosting. Both those equipments getting the -1 counter, but just utilizing the equipment there. So Matt Vore here, he has a 5-card hand and a Channel Mount Heroic. Let's see what he can cobble together with
Let's go.
Let's go. Time to go all gas, no brakes.
Bramble Spark. Oh my gosh. Chris Ollie looking on over his shoulder. Is that good with how bad Chris Ollie's luck has been recently?
You think he might be rubbing
I would be like,
luck?
go sit by Peter. Crap in my style. But on Peter's side, the judge.
And look at that. We are going to go ahead and get both of those Enlightened Strikes.
Oh,
as the
that's
Sonata
so good.
Arcanix X equals 1 here
Right.
is going to go ahead and hit. So we're getting 2 Arcane coming across, and that embodiment of lightning, that Enlighten Strike now representing most likely 8 and draw a card with Go again on this turn. So Matt Vore setting himself up quite nicely to continue what is already sure to be a big turn, and he's already got 1 Earth card in the pitch.
For everybody at home, Sonata is a card that you can pitch into, and you're looking for half attacks, half non-attacks. It's something where it's either the worst card ever because you whiff, or just literally zoom ahead of your opponent, and Matt hit the gas on it.
Yeah, Matt,
No, break.
no breaks. Now, taking a look here at these first couple turns for Matt, I don't think you could have sculpted it much better. You got a Channel Mount Heroic going first on the play, your Sonata hit,
Right.
giving you an E-Strike after an Embodiment of Lightning. Like, everything is coming up Vore at the moment.
And right now, if you're Peter, you're like, does anybody have a Kit Kat? Because can I get a break? Break me off a piece.
Looks like we're going to bottom that second E-Strike.
Oh, wait, he was waiting. He said, you thought I was waiting to disrupt you at the worst possible time. As soon as you finally decided to give me something, I'm going to screw it up.
And yeah, Matt here had the option of putting the E-Strike or that blue on the bottom of the deck. Potentially, if you keep the E-Strike, you can E-Strike again on this turn. But Matt Vore, you talk about him as a smart player. Heads up, keeping the blue for the potential disruption. And Blizzard is certainly just a blue check. It says, do you have a blue? Because you need 2 resources and then another resource for the Frostbite that's coming afterwards. So this is going to be going ahead and being blocked for 6. So this E-Strike connecting for a fair amount of damage here, and we're going to continue the turn with the Swarming Gloomveil, spending 1 for the Frostbite. We have 1 more to do a 2 and 2 after all this is said and done.
We're swarming. Yeah, and seeing 2 Command and Conquers go as blocks, that's a good... I'll do that any day, because then you can feel great about putting a card in your arsenal like, this is not... We're not going to have this blow up anytime soon.
So this turn so far, that Bramble Spark was 1 Arcane. It was +3. We went a Enlighten Strike for 11 because of the Bramble Spark and the Channel Mount Heroic.
Sonata had 2 Arcane.
2 Arcane, Swarming Gloomveil for 7, and then a Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2. So you can do that math, but it seems like a lot.
35. How is Peter even alive?
Oh, and he did get, and because he kept the second Earth Blue for the pitching for the
like he kind of lucked into like, go ahead and Blizzard me because that almost helps me like be able to pitch all this.
Yeah, he kept that. He kind of like hid the information, keeping that second blue Autumn's Touch. So now we've got a second Channel Mount Heroic turn. You put it very, very astutely. Peter desperately needs a Kit Kat.
Yes,
My man is looking for a break.
Yeah, dude. Somebody get this man a 4. What are they? Crisp rice with chocolate over them.
Mm-hmm. Crisp rice? I think
It's kind of like crisp rice.
No,
in
it's
there
not.
Somewhere.
It's not. It's like they're like wafers.
Oh, Oh, crisp rice is crunch bar.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking about food other than Chipotle these days because we've been on Chipotle food for 8 hours. It feels like we're in the penitentiary almost. This is Anthem of Spring, a brand new card from Dusk Till Dawn. What does it do?
It's going to give your next attack +1, but if you block with it and another card, you're going to get an Embodiment of Earth token. So that card can immediately block for much more than it does. And by much more, I do mean exactly 1 more with the Embodiment of Earth. But this time it's coming in for its offensive side. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Coax Commotion. That's going to get blocked out for 4. Or actually, it's coming in for much more than 4 because of the Channel Mount Heroic.
That's why we
but
get the
we've
second 4 block.
Look at this. This is 2 4 blocks, and go ahead and try to cover that all the way up, which I think it will. And then the Frosting coming in, representing the need for another pitch.
I'm disrupting you. Here's a Frostbite. And it's like, okay, I don't care. Like, I've already played a non-attack action. I've played an attack. You're definitely getting Rosetta Thorned at least. Maybe I can fit something in between. The Exude Confidence is a fantastic card. I wonder if you keep the Tome of Harvest to try and go off a 3rd straight turn. Absolutely no way you can keep the Channel Mount up either.
It looks like we are just going to pitch away the Tome of Heart. Now, this is just going to be, and I say just, but it's a snatch for 7 with no ability to get the go again. So 4 damage coming through, bringing Peter all the way down to 15 to Matt Vore's 38.
That is crazy. Like, I don't care if you've been on Iyslander for 6 years or just a week and a half, I don't want to see a Channel Mount Heroic and just a frosting and a frosting as my disruption. That is not good enough.
Nope, certainly not. Certainly not.
Like, you need an Aether Ice Vein.
And unfortunately, that big blizzard that he was attempting to stop the earlier turn with, not only was there blue to pay for it, but it was an Earth blue keeping the Channel Mount Heroic around. We've got another Bramble Spark being fused. Earthlore Surge going to make the embodiment of lightning. Another attack coming in with Go again on the turn, and it's going to be the Exude Confidence. So when this hits the stack, once it moves past the layer step, we are not going to be able to do any instance or anything like that because of Exude Confidence texts. There's no arsenal here regardless, so we're going to go ahead and, after the Earthlore and the Bramble Spark, how much damage is it? A red Earthlore? Is it coming in for +5?
You better believe it.
So +8, +12.
I think Exude Confidence is like one of my favorite cards that just is not getting into lists for many heroes, because it's like, I would love for a hero to come out that, like, that's a really good card for them.
Yeah. I mean, so I just got to say, that was followed up by the Rosetta Thorn Fort 2 and 2 Peter Buddensiek all the way down to 6. This is just revenge of the Briars right now. Briar coming out and forcing, I'm still around, I'm still legal.
There's some disruption. The Kit Kat bar falls in the form of a Channel Lake Friendship.
Going to go ahead and tax the rest of the turn
If
here.
you're a fan of saying that. Or Channel Lake Frigid for brand new players. It is a card that no matter what you do, Matthew Vore, we're going to make you pay 1 extra. The first thing is going to actually be 2 extra because here's a Frostbite. So this is going to cost 2 to Nimblism, which in most things would be awful, but this is fine. We can make a 7 damage Coax a Commotion.
Peter here looking at the cards he has left to block with. You know, he, unfortunately, because he had to block with that, he didn't have to block, but because he did block with the Coronet Peak, it's going to be very challenging to keep this Channel Mount Heroic around. 3 damage, though, coming through with the Tunic. You can Tunic.
Oh, yeah.
You can Tunic into 3 damage here, so getting Matt down all the way to 34. Unfortunately, Peter Brutus is sitting at...
Take that, Peter.
No, it's just unfortunate.
You're dancing on his grave.
It's just unfortunate.
Oh, you got him to 34. Nice try, dude. Doesn't Iyslander start with 35.5 health, basically?
I mean, basically.
That's crazy. Where it's
round
like,
up to 36.
I can do 30 damage to you before you do 6 to me. When is the last time you did that to somebody in Flesh and Blood?
Peter going to go ahead and use all 3 of his cards to block. Unfortunately, the Channel going to die. No arsenal here at all. Briar has a 5-card hand to work with. Going to see if Matt is going to be able to get Go again here, utilizing any effects like an embodiment of lightning. I'm not sure if he's running any Razor Reflexes, but how about this Lightning Surge out of the arsenal? Going to go ahead and be 4 with the Go again. Peter looking like it's going to be tough to pull this one out. There's a block for 3, 1 damage coming across. This is I think you put it well. It's a beating.
Yeah, Anthony looked over and he was like, am I going to have to stop playing my Monopoly deal game early? Like, come on, guys. Thought I was going to be able to have fun and rest for 20 minutes.
Here's this Exude Confidence. So once again, once it hits the stack, unless Peter is able to throw something like a Wounded Bull on top of it, there's going to be no instance. And with 3 cards left in hand, you have to imagine Matt Vore might have the ability to pump this up and continue the damage or increase the damage output on this card, potentially enough to just put Peter out of the game. Going to buy 6 block out of Peter here because of that threat.
Peter needs 4 non-attack actions in Matthew's hand.
Yeah. And
is that possible to have happen?
We are seeing 2 blues be pitched into it, so the Exude Confidence there going to get 2 damage across. Peter Buddensiek on Iyslander here going all the way down to 3. Matt Vore sitting pretty at 34. Looks like we do see a Razor Reflex in the hand, so that is part of the deck. Could be exactly what you need to finish this one out. Oh, and does he have another Lightning Surge from his arsenal on this turn? My goodness.
I hope Peter doesn't feel bad about this game or feel shook or like, oh, I could have done. I don't think you really could have done anything.
Matt Vore here has the option to attempt to push for the second light for the Razor Reflex. If there's no other defense reaction in the game, that's 3 damage coming across. There is no defense reaction. That is the game right there, folks. That was absolutely brutal.
You could not have made a Stouffer's lasagna and the amount of time it took for him to get cooked. Peter is less than a Stouffer's lasagna for cooking time. Sheesh. Dude, there's a pop-off going on. Somebody's what's funny about this
There was
tournament,
a pop going on right here.
There's a little bit of like, we're fun, we're having friends, we're all good. So there's a little bit of like cheering on somebody's death. There's like, oh, it's hilarious. We got our judge coming and going in. What the F was that BS? And just triple cussing. Yeah, just do that at Nationals 7 times, man, and get this hero out of here.
Briar holding on for dear life into the classic constructed format and showing what is possible. This is a hero that historically won Frostbite, really gave some real struggles to, and we saw that even
in Anthem of Spring, and now you're fine.
Yeah, another great Earth blue, something that is it Earth? Is Anthem of Spring
it's
Earth?
Earth?
My goodness.
Do not worry, we're gonna be able to keep that land channel up.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at the literal Worlds Finals between those two heroes, and with our very own homegrown Chris Iali battling up against the Iyslander, but Iyslander they're pretty easily able to take down the deck at that time. Looking like it's going to be a little harder for the deck in this tournament as Matt Vore heads on to the finals.
And we just saw Fuzzy beat Vore, then Vore beat Buddensiek, and now we're going to see another Iyslander versus Briar.
Yeah. I think it's going to be 4 Iyslander versus Briar games in a row for
That'd
this
be
top 8.
crazy.
That's what it's. I mean, I guess
unless Fuzzy does it all over, Fuzzy Wuzzy was,
and then we could have just the 2 of the 3 Briars from this championship tournament. All 8 months leading up to this come down to Briar versus Briar, which I would not have expected.
And then that means there was a joke earlier that had a big pop where it was like, Iali's the only Briar that didn't make top 8. So that was funny. I don't know if that's exactly true. There was 3. Yep. Whoops. And so I think what's interesting is our friend Tyler Horspool came on Fi, but he won an AGE Open, the 6th one on Briar. So I always wonder if that's a thing in people's head where it's like, here's a hero I'm more familiar with that I love, but I'm not going to play them because I think it's a bad meta call. And then they end up winning the tournament, and you're like, God, I need to stop overthinking this and just play my favorite hero and just pop off King.
Yeah, that was, I mean, talk about a pop-off. I don't know if Briar is Matt Vore's favorite hero, but if it was, she certainly delivered for him.
I mean, Matt Vore could not care less about Briar. I think I think he's just like, well, I mean, Channel Mount Heroic does this. He loves the old man. He loves some other stuff. You're going to talk to him.
I am.
Go for it. Yeah, we're going to see him in 45 seconds. I'm going to disappear and become a different guy from Arizona.
Well, just like that, you heard it here first, folks. We'll be right back with Matt Vore, and then the second semifinal before the finals of the AGE champions here. It's all led up to this. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
An 8th-month saga concludes.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Players' Championship. I am here with one of the newest stars of one of the final movies in the Fast and Furious franchise, Matt Vore. Congratulations on your casting in the film based on this last performance.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're excited to be with Vin Diesel and drive the cars really fast?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to me about how you did that and the amount of skill and preparation that went into crafting those first couple of hands?
I think, honestly, any mid to high level player would make relatively similar decisions to what I made throughout the game. I think the biggest decision point in my game, even though it didn't seem like a big deal, is when I paid two for Sonata, drew 2 cards, and they were both E-Strike. And I was thinking if I should sink the E-Strike or the other blue in my hand, and I was thinking if I draw another attack, if I sink the E-Strike, I'm fine anyways. So I was like, I'd rather play the safe player and play around Blizzard. And he ended up having Blizzard, which was just amazing for me because I got to keep Channel Mount Heroic out, as well as still attack and present Swarming into Rosetta, which was just huge. Insane.
Yeah, absolutely huge. That was the moment we talked about as, already you hit off the Sonata, big.
Yeah.
The Bramble Spark, big.
Big.
This thing is going to come in with Go Again already, big.
Yeah,
but then having the ability to pay for the Blizzard with a second Earth blue was just, backbreaking.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people easily get blown out by Iyslander. For example, if you go back to that exact play, I had 1 floating, and if I ended up sinking the blue instead of the E-Strike, all of a sudden I lose Go Again. I lose the 6 damage or the 7 damage I would have had from Swarming, and then the 4 from Rosetta. So it may not seem like a lot, but Iyslander with 11 health is a lot.
Yeah, well, and it can be enticing to think, ooh, I got a second E-Strike out of this with Go again if I keep the E-Strike.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. It's sometimes against Iyslander specifically, it's better to go for the safer play of like if they have this exact punish, then I'm not completely out of the game. Or they don't completely like gain a bunch of life for no reason essentially. Like I thought my turn was good enough. Even if I drew, it didn't like I could have drawn any card off each strike. Cause like if I get to arsenal it or if it's an attack that has Go again, like obviously I get to play it and stuff. But I just wanted the guaranteed value of being able to attack for a total of 10, I believe it was, or 11.
Yeah, which
So.
is, I mean, it worked out in your favor. So
did.
as you were saying before we went live, sometimes all you have to do is kill your opponent.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you have to do is play your cards and win.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the first Briar mirror or the Briar versus Iyslander game we've had today that's ended that quickly. Normally it's more back and forth, and that Iyslander actually has some play in the matchup.
Well. Looking ahead to the finals, you've got an Iyslander or a Briar. This has been literally this whole of Top 8 stream has been Iyslander versus Briar. So you have an opportunity to play into either one. Call your shot now. Who do you want to face?
I would like to face Iyslander, not necessarily because I think it's a better matchup. I just want, for those who don't know, Anthony is part of our team, and I want him to see him do well, you know, and it's not anything against the Briar player. But I mean, he beat me in Swiss, so maybe there's a grudge, a grudge match in the finals. Yeah. Maybe we'll get one of those.
Alrighty, well you heard it here first, folks. Matt Vore wants Anthony Pham, but we're gonna see in just about 2 minutes if Fuzzy Delp has anything to say about it. Congratulations again, making it to the finals. We will see you all momentarily for the second semifinal game. Don't go anywhere.